You're watching Fairfield Public Access Television, Channel 9. I'm Susan Kessel, and Bob Phipps is with me here today. We're at the Fairfield Business Showcase, the second year.
Second annual, that's right, Susan.
And this is sponsored by none other than
the Fairfield Area Chamber of Commerce and the Chamber of Commerce businesses in Fairfield.
Great, and we're standing here, it's about 11 a.m. and we've got, it looks like a backup in the line coming in.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad there's a line.
Yes, and this is the second year for the event at the Fairfield Middle School. And do you know how many participants there are?
Well, this year we expanded. We're not only in the Commons area, but we're also in the gymnasium. So we have a lot more vendors this year. We have approximately 40-some vendors. And that's really helped increase things. But we also, it's easier to get around this year because we have wider aisles between the different display booths.
It does, it looks nice.
By using the gym, we were able to do that.
That's great. It looks like a lot of the booths are larger than they were last year, so they are not in there as tight and compact, but they are spread out.
Well, we found that we have a lot of vendors wanting 2 spaces this year rather than 1.
Okay.
So they've increased their display, and we've increased the number of vendors, so we're very happy.
That's great, and there are some new ones, a lot of new ones, and some that aren't here from last year that will be back next year.
Yes.
When they hear about how successful it is. And over here to our left, where we see them coming in, tell us a little bit about what they're doing right there.
Well, this is the registration desk, and everybody that comes in, this year there is a fee of $1 per person or $3 per family, and at the same time they get to register and vote on some artwork that the young people have done. Judy Bromsted is our chairman for this year, and she's done a lot of work getting ready for this thing. Unfortunately, she's not here right now. I wanted to put her on the air, but she couldn't be with us right now.
Well, we'll put her on the spot later when she gets back from wherever she went.
Yes, that'd be a good idea. But we have a lot of the chamber board members, and of course the ambassadors are all helping today, so it's just been a great event so far.
And also at the booth I noticed there's a chamber Afghan and also the new mugs.
Yes, those are available at the chamber office, but we thought maybe we'd do a little advertising today and put them out on display.
Those are great gift ideas if you have maybe a graduate coming up, send them away, or a wedding gift this summer. And then
we started the Afghans about 2 years ago, and the Afghans seem to sell continuously because people come back for a class reunion, and grandparents buy them for their grandchildren and ship them all over the United States. So the Afghans have really been a good seller for the Chamber of Commerce.
And those feature buildings or places in Jefferson County. The
right,
courthouse.
Field Cabin, we have the Jefferson County Courthouse.
Some historical McElhaney. It's not folded out, so we can't see them all, but I know I have 3 of them stuck in my closet for my 3 children, just in case they all disappear. Yeah. And then also the mugs, which have the Fairfield scene on them, the square.
Yes, the mugs are very nice. That's something new that we tried, and they seem to be working very nicely.
Good. I think a great idea would be to maybe get 4 of them, and you have someone new coming to town or someone leaving, and put some coffee or something in there and
sure,
send them off with a reminder of Fairfield.
Well, they make a great gift.
So we are here at the Fairfield Business Showcase, sponsored by the Chamber, and this is the second year, and we will take a break and go around and visit some of the booths. Thank you, Bob.
Okay.
We are at the Business Showcase, and we're just about ready to have a presentation to the Safe Community program, and we will hear about that in just one moment.
First National Bank Fairfield.
We are hearing KMCD announce all of the participants in the business showcase for 1999.
Founded shortly after the close of the Civil War. First National Bank is a full-service bank with 2 locations in Fairfield. The main branch is at 100 East Burlington, and the branch bank is located at 1900 West Burlington. First National Bank offers a wide variety of services as well as extended hours. Stop by one of our convenient locations. Let us help you with all your banking needs. It's First National Bank in Fairfield, the bank that puts you first. I might remind you that First National Bank throughout the day will be giving away more prizes.
While we're standing here waiting for the presentation, we can take a look around at the variety of setups. We have here a really nice living room and bedroom furniture.
We have a special presentation.
And now,
Fairfield Safe Coalition is on stage right now, so we're glad to witness the ceremonies. And now is the time, and I'd like to turn the proceedings over to the Safe Coalition.
and we now have the Safe Coalition ceremony and presentation.
Hi, my name is John Reeves, and we're having our celebration for incorporating the Safe Coalition from Fairfield. There are about 60 Safe Coalitions across Iowa. The SAFE stands for Substance Abuse-Free Environment. And we have a very special guest from the Governor's Alliance on Substance Abuse, who will be giving out the certifications for people to help put SAFE together and a certificate for our city and our area. Hopefully we'll be safe, and I don't want to say safe, but I'm sorry, but we're looking forward to some of the things that we're planning on doing. And I think there are a few things that I'd like to focus with from the Governor's Alliance on Substance Abuse to talk about.
Well, thank you. Typically this honor is reserved for the Governor, but he wasn't available today, so I in no way could fill in for him, but I'm very honored to be able to be here today to honor the Fairfield Safe Coalition. The Iowa Safe Community Program began in 1989 as a way to assist communities in pulling together to address issues such as substance abuse, crime, and violence in their communities. It's a voluntary organization, and the community members work really hard to plan and implement actions that will help assist them in reducing issues like substance abuse in their community. The Iowa Safe program continues to grow. We currently have 63 certified communities, so Fairfield's joining 62 others, and there are approximately 60 others that are in different stages of preparedness. So there's a lot going on across Iowa right now. I want to congratulate the community of Fairfield for their work in becoming SAFE certified. As you heard, they began planning in May, and I had the honor of visiting and talking with them last June. And they achieved their certification in on December 8th of 1998, which means they went through their 4-step certification process in less than 6 months. It shows a lot of motivation and commitment. I think we need to congratulate yourselves on that. Bringing your community together to address its risks and assets is a challenging task. It requires commitment, time, dedication, and energy. And the Fairfield Safe Coalition recognizes that the community, like all others across Iowa, had issues that needed to be dealt with the community was to be a safe and healthy place, and a safe and healthy place for raising children and for its adult citizens. Although many communities would like to think that they're immune from problems, most closely identified with big cities like crime and violence, we're all beginning to realize that these are issues that affect everyone, and they cross all social barriers, they cross all socioeconomic barriers, they cross everything and reach out and touch all of us, and it can affect anyone or any community at any time. Recent information about drug use across the nation indicates that for the first time in many years, drug use is beginning to rise. Marijuana use among youth is on a rise for the first time since the early 1980s, and Iowa mirrors this trend. We're also dealing with methamphetamine, a drug which several years ago no one in Iowa had ever heard of before. But we know that in 1998, 12% of all of those entering substance abuse treatment indicated methamphetamine as their drug of choice. Drug use is in our communities, our neighborhoods, our families, and it leads to other issues like teen pregnancy, dropout, crime, and violence. It's an issue that affects all of us, and it leads to many, many other issues that impact our communities. The Fairfield Safe Coalition recognizes that the entire community needs to be part of the solution. It also recognizes that increasing the assets in the community is one way to positively impact its citizens and reduce its risks. The Fairfield Safe Coalition main mission has been education and awareness. They do not tell people what to do, but work to find ways that they can collaborate with and support their efforts through community action. It involves many, many individuals from many, many different groups: parents, foster parents, business owners, civic group representatives, clergy, juvenile justice, school, human service, and members of the recovery programs. As a volunteer organization, they've gathered substance abuse and crime data in the area, surveyed community members, conducted a day-long substance abuse community education and awareness symposium coinciding with the local Kids Day. They've served as radio, talk show hosts, and public television guests. They've conducted in-house training. They've spoken to community groups and institutions about the research and the resources they've collected, and they've explored ways to collaborate with local agencies and institutions. They've also conducted and served as a catalyst for creating parent support groups to address teenage substance abuse. So they've done a lot, and that has helped them become SAFE certified. They also realize that certification is just the beginning. They've created a 3-year action plan, and they've begun implementing that action plan, and hopefully at the end of 3 years, they will still be motivated and have many, many more new members who will look towards the following 3 years with the same enthusiasm and commitment that this group has now. The real work begins now, and hopefully 3 years from now, you'll be able to say we have made a difference in our community, and you can see what we've done. And with that, I would like to present the SAFE Coalition with some certificates. We'll start out with my favorite one. That Governor Vilsack has even seen one of these. Governor Branstad really liked this. That was one of the best looking certificates that we give out in the state. And this is the official certification certificate for Fairfield. You can hang it in a public place so that everyone who comes to that public place can see what we've done. Now go ahead and read what it says. It says, the state of Iowa, the governor of Iowa hereby certifies the City of Fairfield as an Iowa safe community upon its having completed all actions required to become a community free of alcohol and drug abuse, in recognition of which the certificate is given under the Great Seal of the state of Iowa on this, and that we dated the day of the actual certification on this 8th day of December 1998. And it's signed by Governor Vilsack, and it's also signed by the substance abuse and the drug enforcement and abuse prevention coordinator for the state of Iowa, who is my boss, Dale Woolery. So that's the first thing. So that's a really exciting piece. And then we have a road sign. This always reminds me of those dare road signs. You know, lots of people know that you've got some action going on in the community. Well, we've got a safe certificate or a safe, road sign that you can put on the outskirts of your community, and we've actually got 4 of them, so you can get them on all the major inroads into the community, so that people coming into your community can see that you are in a state of preparedness to deal with issues like substance abuse, crime, and violence. It also provides an opportunity for people to say, well, what is safe? And then an opportunity for the community to respond and tell them about what you're doing, and to get excited as a community and work together. So you've got those. And then lastly, I'd like to present individual certificates to those individuals who have really worked hard to achieve certification, and hope that 3 years from now I can present more to the rest of you who will get involved. So we'll start out. Please come forward when your name is read. Dr. Donald Wyatt Peterson, Ken Kennerhagen, Lenora Boyle, Dr. Jim Fleming, Dr. Bob Phipps, Patsy Simmons,
We are here at the Business Showcase with Carol Bermel, who is from Melissa's Closet.
Hi, Sue.
Did I just see where you had a 10-year anniversary?
Yes, April of this year will be 10 years.
I saw that in the ledger and I couldn't believe it, that
Yeah.
10 years have flown by.
Time does go fast when you're having fun, doesn't it?
Yeah. And you've been there all of those 10 years?
Part-time a couple of the years prior to when my kids were young, but about the 2 years along the way, then I was manager, and I've been there ever since.
Okay, and this is your second year at the Business Showcase.
Yes, and we like it.
And I was excited to see that you have some men's clothing now.
Yes, with nobody else in Fairfield carrying men's clothing, a lot of people have come in and asked us if we could start carrying that. So we do have a corner of our store that we have just put toward the men's, and we have some golf shirts by Ralph Lauren and golf shorts by Ralph Lauren and Nike, different t-shirts and stuff for the guys. So we're going to try to keep it in there as long as we can.
That's really nice that you're doing that for Fairfield. And of course, your wonderful women's and ladies' clothes, and you have from teens to older, mature women.
Yes, we carry juniors, kind of sportswear along the line of sportswear juniors, and then we go all the way up to misses, and then we just started carrying some women's sizes also. So we need to get the women's sizes in there, and hopefully that'll be good for us too.
And I'm going to be a grandmother again.
Oh, yes.
And I see some really cute little things over there, and I'm not supposed to say. I know that it's either a girl or a boy. My husband doesn't, so I'm not supposed to say, so I can't say too much. But I see something over there I would like to get.
Yeah, I forgot about the kids' clothes. We have a section depicted to kids only, and we carry all the way from infants all the way up to size 6. And we do have some 7 to 14s and girls, but not a whole lot. Just depends on what we can find.
And you have some helpers here.
Yes. I've got my daughter Carrie Bermel. She's from Kyoto, and she brought along a friend, Beth Morris, also from Kyoto.
So you're from Kyoto.
Yes. I drive back and forth 3 or 4 days a week.
I can appreciate that because I just drove my daughter there to Kyoto last night for a core weekend retreat.
Good. I saw them there last night. There's lots of hustle and bustle going around that area.
She wasn't real excited about it, but I think once she gets there and figures out what it is, she'll come home liking it.
It's a nice weekend. Yes, it really is.
And you also have watches and jewelry at your store?
Yes, we carry a lot of fashion jewelry and watches. We got a new line of watches in right now, and they're pretty good priced. So come on in and check it out.
And I also see you have some makeup. Is this a regular item?
We carry a lot of Estee Lauder, mostly fragrances, and every once in a while they'll issue a promotional item, and that's right now we have the Estee Lauder trays. It's a $150 item, and then they discount them pretty close to around $40 or $50 area.
Well, I know I appreciate having you in Fairfield on the Fairfield Square, and that's Melissa's Closet. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Hi, we're here at another booth at the Business Showcase, and we're at Yummies, which is a favorite spot, and we are with Larry Oswalt, and you and your wife run the business?
That's right, my wife Lisa and myself.
Now this started out in your home.
Yes, it did. About 6 years ago, she started baking out of the house and doing catering. And it got to the point where in the last year of business, she couldn't keep up with it. So she said, you got to start baking cakes. And I rolled my eyes and said, well, okay. And one thing led to another, and now we have a shop.
So you didn't do this with her to start with?
No, I didn't. No, didn't.
What did you do?
I had a small publishing company at the time out of the house. So I was there at the house, so I got dragged into other things.
So do you like this better?
Oh, sure, it's much sweeter. My boss is my wife, so
Good answer.
I can't get fired.
And I know that this is a very popular item, people having parties, coming up, graduations and things. That when they want something really special, they give you a call.
Yeah, that's right. What we have right now is something that just came out within the last few months, and it's called Photo on a Cake.
It's really interesting. You're going to have to explain how you do this.
Okay, what you do is an individual will bring in a photograph, preferably color, and we take it and we scan it into the computer. And then what we do is we'll put a message on it, and if a little girl wants her freckles removed, I take off the freckles. If they want their face...
This is like glamour cakes, glamour shot cakes.
If they want their head put on a bodybuilder or something like that, we do that. And then it goes to a bubble jet printer. Now the printer has been modified so that instead of regular ink cartridges, it has food coloring cartridges. And when it prints the photograph, it will print not on a sheet of paper, but actually on a sheet of sugar. This is actually a piece of sugar base that is on like a wax piece of paper.
Okay.
And the photograph is printed on there, you peel it off, you put it on the cake, and it just literally melts into the cake. So you can eat your photo, have your cake, and eat it too.
That is really interesting, and I wondered how in the world you did that. They're perfectly good photos. So this is a new popular item. How long have you had it?
We've only had a few months. The concept's been around for a few years, but it was very, very expensive. They actually had machines that printed right on the cake, and very expensive. But someone actually just modified a standard printer, which has made it more economical for bakeries.
So do you do that at your store?
I have that back in the office in the house still.
So that's kind of your thing. I
That's
guess.
my thing, yeah. I can get to play with it and have fun with the different programs and whatnot.
And then since you have been uptown in a storefront, you've expanded from just the cakes to all kinds of things.
We have a full range of desserts, the cakes, we have the eclairs, we have pies, and just recently we've expanded into homemade breads now. They're baked fresh every day, right out of the oven. You can come at 11 o'clock and get the loaf still hot. And there's probably about 7 or 8 different varieties of bread now we do every day.
And just like everything else, they're really, really yummy. Great name. So thank you very much for sharing with us and being at the Business Showcase this year. We're sitting here at the Business Showcase at the Fairfield Ledger booth with Stacey Wilson, and
That's okay.
I knew I was going to do that. Her maiden name is Wilson, now Richmond, and you're getting to be a very popular writer for the Ledger.
Well, I don't know about that, but
I do. I'm not kidding. I have heard so many people say what a wonderful job you're doing, and I'm not just saying that.
well, thank you.
The Ledger, I think, is celebrating its 150th this year. Just thought I would put that in there. On the front of the Ledger it says, since 1849. So, congratulations to the Fairfield Ledger. I didn't even know that you wrote.
Yeah, I used to write for the Troy Banner, my big debut in Fairfield. And then as I was having my children, I've been going to school at night over at Buena Vista and got my degree in English last May. So that's kind of been my secret my talents have been...
Your well-kept secret.
Well, I've put them into my Christmas letter.
That we all get. I'm sure yours is one that people like to get, though.
Well, I try to make it juicy.
So you started with the Ledger, is it coming up on a year?
September. I started in September. So started out kind of doing some things on my own, and then started working part-time, and then in December I work every day now.
So now you are full-time.
Not quite full-time, but I work every day. So.
Okay. Sounds like full-time to me.
And they let me off to go get my kids in time for my kids to get out of school.
Which, talking about children, you have a husband, Bart, Richmond, and your children are?
Addie Rose, Jasper, Sage, and Zane.
And they're all compacted in there in ages from?
Addie is 8 and Zane is 2.
So she has her hands full at home along with the Ledger, but I think they're inspiration for some of your stories.
Yes, they're good writing material. I'm afraid of what I'm going to do when they get old enough and decide that I can't write about them anymore.
When they get to be teenagers, I know what that's like.
Somebody suggested that I have another baby, but I said no. I'd quit my job.
So you'd have more to write about.
Yeah, but no.
Oh, and your parents are Margaret and David Wilson. And I know that your last story was about your dad.
Yes, he's feeling very happy right now. He called me at work yesterday and tried to disguise his voice and wanted to know if there was a limit on the number of ledgers that he could purchase because he wanted to laminate them and pass them out.
So circulation should go up. That's pretty funny. Oh, so where do you get we talked about your kids for inspiration, but other places?
Oh, sometimes I have a cause. Like, one week I wrote about gun control and things that I think a lot of the things that I draw from are just from being a mom, things that concern me because of my kids. And, we talked about this at work one day, that it's kind of nice. We have a real balance in the newsroom right now of single male and single female, and people bring different things to the paper, and that's really nice to have that balance. And
I really know where you're coming from, because that's kind of what I do for FPAC, or try to do. I try and take what's going on in the community and what I'm really involved in and what I relate to and what I think is important, and the arts are important to me, so we try and do that. But also health causes, I get involved in those things and try and represent that. And I noticed you have had some stories lately that have really been good and hit home with me too. I can't think of what it was. Oh, your cooking ones. I love your cooking ones.
That's something new that we just started in March, and I am really enjoying that. The more different kinds of things we do like that, the more readers that we draw in, people that have different interests in different things. And
yes, and so far you have had Floyd Burns and Nan Cameron.
And then we had Stephen Page, the priest at St. Mary's. And then now this week, a little preview is Jane Rowe.
Jane Rowe.
And coming up, we have Sandy Gillespie. Marcia Gevok's going to write about cooking for a large family. She has 5 kids. And we're just trying to do some neat things. We're trying to convince some other people. Yeah.
Oh, I can think of some that you can get a hold of.
And he's been gone, so I've been calling him, and I think he might have got back this week, so.
And I know Karen Howring, who has a very popular show on that we need to get back. She's a very good cook.
I like her show. She does some really neat things.
Yes. So I would think that the cooking one is almost a never-ending type theme that you could go with.
Yeah, and it's just nice to see what different people are, like Jane Rowe, she was saying, I'm not really that good of a cook. I just have a lot of good friends who are cooks, and they've given her all of her recipes. But it turned out to be a really nice story because, she said when she cooks, she thinks about her friends and who she got the recipes from. And her cooking has really become an extension of her friends and her family. And I think different people, as they tell why they like to cook and when they started to cook, it just makes a nice little story in addition to the recipe.
Yes, it's a whole new story within that theme.
We've had a really good response. I think people are really enjoying that feature. And
also, with Fairfield getting to be known for such an international cuisine here.
Yes, and I am trying to tap into that diversity, and in the future we'll be having some more branching out.
I hope that FPAC, that we'll be visiting some businesses behind the scenes cooking also. So. And I always tell Jeff and also KMCD that I love that we have such a wonderful working relationship between the three of us. We're just so compatible. That's nice.
It's good. It adds a lot when everybody can work together.
Yes. So we will look forward to reading more in the Fairfield Ledger from you, Stacey.
Well, thanks.
And thank you very much for all that you're doing. We enjoy it.
Thank you.
Look at her. She knows what to do. Jean Greco, welcome to FPAC.
Thanks, Susan. I'll catch you later.
Oh, we're sitting here at the Business Showcase at the Ottumwa Courier booth, and Jean Greco is the correspondent for Fairfield.
That's right. Since 1995.
1995.
Right.
Actually, I have to tell a little story, is that when I was on the FPAC committee and we needed a new manager, I was trying to talk Jean Greco into doing what I do, and then you went to work for the Courier. Saved.
Yeah, saved, yes. Saved by the Courier. Yes,
Yeah.
I think you're doing a great job in what you're doing.
Thank you, and you are definitely doing a wonderful job. I think readership in Fairfield has grown, and you just do a wonderful job. I get the Courier, and I sit down every morning and read through it to see what's going on.
Good. We're glad you're in the Courier habit. That's what we're here for.
And Jean is also a friend, so this is kind of a hard interview to do.
Well, we were friends.
Until this. How did you get into writing? Did you study?
Yes, I did in college many years ago. Graduated from School of Journalism, West Virginia University in Morgantown, West Virginia. And I've always loved working with words, interfacing with people, and I just love watching a story come together. And Jefferson County provides lots and lots of fodder for good stories and good features. There's so much good energy here and creativity and things happening, and citizens really being citizens, really concerned about government, how government works, and keeping their eyes on government, and it just makes it really interesting. It's just Iowa. I was kind of nervous about coming to Iowa, afraid of what I might.
I remember when you first came.
Yeah, the state where they make where they grow potatoes, right? Well, people really east of the Mississippi know so little about Iowa, and I think we probably have an identity crisis with the rest of the nation. But it would be nice if we could get on the map and get out of our, this just being identified with Midwest and agriculture, which is great, which is the base. But it would be nice if the rest of the country understood how important Iowa is to feeding us all.
And I think also you lend a nice story because you're an outsider. You're not a Fairfield. You're very objective. I think you're very fair.
Thank you.
I just think you really try and do a nice job of reporting what you see.
Well, fairness is very important. I guess each of us as human beings bring a certain amount of bias to an issue, but I hope it's one that I can leave behind as I'm writing a story. I hope that I do that. It's certainly a goal of mine to do that.
Now, I just read in the Fairfield Ledger, I believe it was last night's paper, the Troy Banner, that your son, Philip, had an article.
Yes, I think he wrote, it was either, he's written an article about the greenhouse, I don't know if that was it, but he might have been the article about the restoration of Ryan Garrettson's tractor. Is that?
No, it wasn't that. No, I'm going to have to go back and look. I just noticed that he had the article, and I thought, well, that's really nice that he's got that interest.
They both like to dabble around with that. I don't see journalism in either one of my son's futures, but I think they appreciate it and maybe aspire to it a little bit, but I don't see it as their major career.
I think I can identify with that too because of my children and the art. Hopefully they've grown up appreciating it, even though they're not going to actively pursue something.
Yeah, it's once again they love that finished product and the process of writing, but I don't know. There's I guess they have other career aspirations at this point, which is fine.
Right, children. So I would like to thank you, Jean, for saying yes to this interview because we're friends here at the Ottumwa Courier booth at the Business Showcase. And we are now with Thomas Thayer from Megabytes Computer
Store. Megabytes Computer Store.
Okay, and you used to have a show on FPAC. You taped a show for us, I remember.
I taped a show for you. It was Antioch Independent Church. It was on Sunday nights, and I did the taping for about 2 years.
Okay. Now, I've been in your store when I brought our computers from the station, and you cleaned them for us when we were trying to figure out what was causing a lot of problems, which is another story. But you have all these computers taken apart and in pieces.
Yes, I not only fix computers, but we manufacture our own computer right there. So not only I can control the quality control, because I've worked on so many computers, and when you do things, you know, you always think, well, I could do this better, I could do that better. So I've taken a lot of things that I've seen different in computers, and by making my own computer, I not only can keep the price down, but I can keep the quality up. And there's a couple of things that people need to know. Here in Fairfield, if you're going to buy a computer that you're planning on getting on the internet, we have 2 different internet service providers, which is KDSI and Lisco. Okay, and they each use different modem technology. So
Boy, I am totally computer illiterate, just about. You probably know that.
So what we do is, first thing we decide whether you're going to use Lisco or KDSI for your internet service provider. And what we do then is we build it with that type of modem. Because if you just go to a computer store out of this area, you buy a computer and you bring it home, there's a 50-50 chance it won't work right because it has the wrong modem in it. So when somebody comes into the store, they say, I want to buy a computer. Okay, and the first thing we find out is whether or not they're going to go with Lisco or KDSI, because that makes a difference as to which modem we put in their computer. That's just one of the little
things that you can do.
Right, and the advantage. Another advantage is if you buy a computer from a big brand name, okay, if it doesn't work right, you call some guy on an 800 number 2,000 miles away, and he doesn't really care. His main job in his mind is to get you off the phone so that he can answer another call. So he's going to give you any answer. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, then you call back and hopefully you won't get him, is his thinking.
Right.
My thinking is I want you or you happy.
And that's what really the Business Showcase is all about, is showing Fairfield what we have here in town and getting people to participate and work with their local people.
Well, I've been here 2 years. I'm in the old Pets Plus building, and I get a lot of people that say, well, I didn't know there was a computer store here in town, or I didn't know there was a place that manufactures computers. Right here in Fairfield, there's a store, and we manufacture our own computer.
So thank you very much, Tom, for sharing that with us, and at this year's Business Showcase, and hopefully you'll be back again next year.
I plan on. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Have a good time.
Thanks.
Good luck on your TV station.
Thank you. We are in the gymnasium of the Fairfield Middle School, which is the expanded space for this year's Business Showcase. And we have several setups in here. This one is Henderson's Frames and Gallery. Also in this room we have the Pampered Chef. We have KT Fox. We have way down there we have, oh my goodness, we have the First National Bank and the Super 8. We have Central Valley Bank, Kinetico Water Systems, Maharishi University, Chimney-Scan. We have a big setup here in the gymnasium in addition to the auditorium portion. And I think we'll do one more visit here. Okay, Tom Urban, we're here at your display at the Business Showcase, and you're going to have to tell me what I'm looking at.
Okay, what we do is we design equipment for remote access video, and it's set up that we can, primarily our work is within chimneys, also air ducts, and allows technicians the ability to look inside chimney ductwork to find out if there's any irregularities, to see if the chimney can work properly. And it basically is designed so that as a technician he can get a close-up view inside the chimney to see if there is something that's causing the problem.
Now I know that Richard and I have a problem just videotaping us, so I can't imagine what how this thing operates.
Okay, actually the camera, let me just grab the camera from here. This here is actually what the camera looks like, and it's designed that I can increase and decrease the lights, and I can also change the remote focus, and then I can pull the focus in and out quite easily. So once the camera's being lowered inside the chimney, or you can turn the camera, you can look around, you can see what's inside the chimney, you can and find out how it's operating and where the soot stains are at, and any type of information that's in there that's been left from the smoke, you can figure it out what's happening. So yeah, it makes it's an ideal situation for chimney fires. It's great to find if there's been something caused from an insurance claim, whether it's from lightning or whatever. So that's where we really got started, was working with insurance companies. And from them it's blossomed into performance situations and problems with the rest of it. So yeah.
So did you develop this, or you just come to work with it?
I actually developed the system back in 1984.
Wow.
And we've now sold several thousand cameras. They're used nationwide across the United States. They're in Canada. We've sold other robotic systems in about 5 continents around the world. And they're designed so that air duct cleaning technicians or whatever are using these on a day-to-day basis. And the biggest couple of things we have done with it, which is quite nice, is a lot of these cameras went to Los Angeles during Northridge in 1994, and these cameras were primarily used to work inside chimneys to see how much earthquake damage was done to the chimney. So it was whether it was an insurable loss or was it something that was just from latent wear and tear. So they were used around the clock for a long period of time. So between that, plus we've also used it in the White House. And 10 years ago, we did the White House. We inspected and evaluated all the chimneys in the White House. So it's it's been around for a while.
So I'm really impressed. I think we need your expertise at FPAC sometimes. Don't be surprised if I give you a call.
No problem.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome very much.
Welcome to the Business Showcase, Chris Davis.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Now, you are with Pampered Chef.
Yes, I am. I've been with Pampered Chef for about 3 years. Pampered Chef is a national company that just went national about 5 years ago, and we offer high-quality kitchen utensils for the everyday cook. We don't have anything electrical. It's all just good quality
stuff you need in the kitchen.
Tools, choppers and graters and spoons and knives and that kind of thing. So.
Now, you live in Libertyville. Have you been in the area long?
Well, I've been with Pampered Chef for about 3 years, but we just moved to Libertyville about 6 months ago. So I essentially came down and started over again.
Oh, great. And I said my husband was probably here earlier at this booth, touching and trying everything because he loves to cook.
Mm-hmm.
I would almost say cooking's kind of having a revival.
That's right. In fact, right in our company's mission statement, describes the fact that families need to get together around the dinner table, and we are dedicated to getting folks back eating meals together around the table where they can talk with their children and find out what went on in their day. And
Right. I know that eating out is a big part of everyone's lifestyle, and certainly mine, and so it's almost a reverse trend that the special thing is to stay home and have a really nice meal.
That's right. That's right. Not very many people can do that every night of the week, but if you can pull together maybe 1 or 2 nights of the week when your family knows that this is family night, we're going to have a meal together, and the tools I sell are things that will help you in the kitchen. They'll get you in and out faster so you've got time to spend with your family. So.
And it's also becoming a big hobby. I think men are into cooking more. We were just in Napa Valley and went to the Culinary Institute and went in their shop and looked at all their wonderful things. And I did go to a Pampered Chef party a few years ago and enjoyed it, so it's something people should think about.
That's right. More and more men are interested, it seems. Many of the shows that I do for people in their homes are hosted by men. Really? And it's amazing how they'll really get into it. It's real fun.
And I think we're just okay about it. Let's let them do it.
That's right. Encourage them.
The only thing is I need to teach them how to clean up then.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. Well, if they could cook, I can clean up after them. So.
That's what I say too. So Pampered Chef has a lot of different things besides the cooking utensils. You also have, I see, ingredients over here.
Right. Just in the last 6 months, we have started a new line called the Pampered Chef Pantry, and it's also high quality seasonings, spices. We have barbecue sauces, dry soup mixes. There's a sweet baking mix that makes just wonderful, like cinnamon rolls and coffee cakes, that kind of thing. So vanilla, double strength Madagascar bourbon vanilla that you only need to use about half as much as your regular vanilla. Canola blend basil oil for
a lot of the new items. I can't believe some of the items and ingredients that my husband thinks he has to come up with to cook.
Right, and here in a rural area, sometimes it's hard to find them, so it's kind of nice that with the Pampered Chef, I call it the kitchen store that comes to your door, because we offer things and you can just order them directly.
Great. Well, thank you, and I hope you've had a good day here at the Business Showcase.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. FPAC has a booth here, center stage, in the auditorium of the Fairfield Middle School. This is our second year participating, and we have a comments and suggestion sheet with a poll of what you like to watch on Fairfield Public Access, so we can do a better job of serving our community and listening to our neighbor. We're always open to suggestions and comments, and you can call us at 469-3225. We are set up right beside the exhibit for the art exhibit. All the local schools were asked if they wanted to participate and create something, and there is a place to vote, and you vote for your favorite creation. Here we have, this is St. Mary's Preschool, and this is very creative. They've used paper plates to create butterflies, and it looks like a roll of toilet paper roll for the body, little pipe cleaners, and then the flowers growing up from the bottom are the children's handprints. I think this is really nice. All of their names from St. Mary's Preschool. Little hands spring to life at St. Mary's Preschool. Good job. Nice, colorful, makes you feel like spring. And there is a place for all the visitors to vote for their favorite, and I'm not sure what the prize is that the chamber will have, or recognition. And here we have Fairfield Christian School. This is about Alaska, the last frontier. It shows animals of Alaska, people. It's got some bears and fish and Eskimos and igloos, seals, sea lions. And that's by the Fairfield Christian School. And we have this handy box here. When you come into the Business Showcase, you can pick up a slip of paper, and as you walk around, you write down the number that you select as the winner and put it in the box. Next, we have Washington School. This is the 5th grade, Mrs. Leach's class. Hope I said that right. And this is, let's see, this is a busy activity going on here. It looks like a city. It's got telephone lines, sky, roads, busy place. And up above on the staircase, we have the Community Child Care Center. This is 4 and 5-year-olds that have done this, and this is really great for this time of year. We've got the bunnies hopping around, hopping down the bunny trail at the Community Child Care Center. And then to the left and above of that, we have Lincoln School has created a kite with a tail with, looks like it has everyone's name on it. And I don't see a grade on that, grade level, but that's a really nice thought for a March day. Probably some kite flyers out there right now. And the final entry by the Community Child Care Center also, the 3-year-olds, a clown with balloons and all their names on it. And it's got a border of handprints, purple handprints. I imagine the kids had a great time doing this. So the Chamber would like to thank the participants in the art show and for taking the time and working on these colorful projects to brighten up the business showcase. And thank you, teachers and students, for the job well done. And on that line, we can also see up on the stage, KMCD has a game that's been going on where you can throw a football and try and get it through the backdrop there where it has different holes. Almost. So that's been a fun spot for kids today. And this is closing out the business showcase for 1999, the Chamber's 2nd annual business showcase. And we hope that you come next year.
Booth in the gymnasium and pick up your prize. Congratulations to Sherry Blah.